Hi students, in previous class we have discussed about implementations, then features of Python we have discussed. In today's class we are going to discuss about what applications we can develop, and after that we'll discuss about installing Python, and we'll discuss about what is interactive mode, batch mode, then how to execute the programs. Like all these we're going to discuss in today's session. So let us continue with applications. What all applications or projects that we can develop in Python? Yesterday I've told about the features, all these we have discussed. All these features we have discussed in yesterday class. So I can send all these videos and notes once if you are registered to this for this course. And here we'll see the applications we can develop in Python. So in Python we can see many applications here. So here you can see in Python you can develop desktop applications or GUI applications, graphical user interface applications with a form and controls. As I told in advanced Python, we are going to discuss about designing the form with controls. Many examples we'll see. And next is we can develop websites or web applications in Python. So that is using different frameworks, it is possible. So in Python, with different frameworks we can use, like Django, Flask, Bottle, Pyramid, then Pylons, Web2Py, TurboGears, all these are there. All these we can use, and we can develop websites. And Python is used for data analytics. So for data science, analyzing the data, generating the reports, like all these we can do with data analytics. And here we can see task automation. So task automation means whatever work we are doing manually, that manual work we can do automatically by using Python. We can do it. So here when we say about automation, like it is of various types. So we can see automation in applications, in softwares. We can see the automation, and we can see automation in devices. In devices we can see the automation. Like all these we can do it. Okay, so like for example, when we say about automation, we can see in different ways. Like when we take any application or website, so it can send emails to the users automatically, like auto generated emails. And some websites or some applications will send SMS to the users. So their human intervention will not be there. Like application only will create email, or it will create create SMS, and it will send it to the users. Like for example, if you take MS Word, in MS Word when we do any mistake typing, if any spelling error is there, then it will give red underline. If any grammar mistake is there, then it will show a green underline. So that is doing its work automatically. So in applications, many works is done automatically without giving instructions or without any intervention, it will works. Okay, and here when we say automation, these are there. And here 100% automation means we can say robotics. Like in robotics, 100% automation is will be used because according to the instructions, robots should work. Like robots, we can use it for domestic purpose, and robots can be used for surgeries, like robotic surgeries, will say. And robots are used in manufacturing companies. So in production they are using, like nowadays machines are doing work. So according to the given instructions, they'll work. So in that case, then robots are used. Robots are used. So robotic technology can be used in any device. Like when we see drone. So in a drone, then robotic technology is used, and in many applications, in many devices, we can see that. And here we'll see humanoid robots and autonomous robots will be there. So humanoid robots means we can use it for domestic purpose, all these, and autonomous robots are used for some other purpose. We can use it, like for example, when we say driverless cabs, then driverless buses, like all these, then their humanoid robots are used. Sorry, their autonomous robots are used, like without like any human intervention. Whatever work that is given, it can do it automatically. That is done. And these autonomous robots are used in war also, so they can take decisions by themselves, they can work. And when we say autonomous robots, which are used in war, like they look like a dog. They have named it as a big dog. In news channels they have shown. And another robot is like bird, another robot is like butterfly. So they can design as they like, so it won't look like human. Okay, so in that case, when we say about humanoid autonomous robots, like for example, like when we see Indian border, Pakistan, then China, like all these issues will be there at border, India border. So in that case, if soldiers cannot go, and if they want to, if they cannot send information, then in that case they can send they can send autonomous robots to the places where soldiers cannot go. They can climb the hills. Again, they can go to the places where climate is very bad. Then all these can be done with the robots. Like Britain already conducted trial to introduce these robots, autonomous robots in war. If one country do this, and other countries also will try to implement or use the robots in war, all these can happen. All these will works. Okay, so here, yeah, like when we see this Python in real time, like how it is going to work, then how the automations will work. Like it is mainly used for database servers. Then whatever tasks done by SQL developers, administrators, then Python is used. From the beginning, Python is used for automation. It is automation expert. Any work that is done manually, then that work can be done automatically using Python. It can be done. So from 1990s onwards, like now also, like in companies, for automation of administrative tasks, Python is used. Okay, like in IT companies and in other companies, in banks and in other companies, administrators will be there, like system administrators and network administrators, database administrators, like all these will be there. All these will manage or maintain servers. So if you take a database administrator will have to do many tasks to maintain the server, to maintain the data, like a lot of tasks they need to do it. Okay, so Python scripting, like Python programs can do the tasks on behalf of administrators. Whatever database administrators are doing, whatever job that they are doing, that administrator's job can be done automatically by Python scripting or Python programs. Like every time, administrator sitting in front of the server, doing the tasks. Like administrators, they have to work 24/7. Like they'll have day shifts, night shifts. They have to maintain the servers. They have to watch, or they have to monitor, whether any issues are there. If server is down, then again they have to do the work. Again, the server should be up. All these will be there. Okay, so in that case, here Python is very useful. Okay, like nowadays we are seeing automation in administration works. Like if you take Oracle 18C or 19C, There we can see full automation. Whatever works done by the administrators, then programs can do it. Okay. So even in other areas also, works done by the SQL developers or works done by system administrators or network administrators, whatever work they'll do. Then using Python programming, Python scripting, it can be done automatically. Okay. Like for example, when we take this database administrator, database administrator will create a databases, managing databases, creating users, then backup, restore, then patching, like all these will be done by the administrator. Okay, so some tasks will be there which cannot be done manually every time. Okay, like for example, in IT companies or else in other companies, like they will maintain two servers here, like production server and standby server. So we can say primary server and secondary server, we can say. Okay, so DBA, database administrator, is responsible to maintain same two copies of the same data in primary server and in production server. Okay, like standby server, primary server and secondary server, or production server or standby server. Okay, so like why they do this is like they'll not rely on one production server. Why? Because if the server is down, then the client's work should not stop. Okay, so they will keep on standby server with the same data. And if production server is down, then standby server will come to live, so that clients will they will not lose anything. Like they can save the time. Like if 1 minute if the server is down, sometimes we'll see like 1 hour, 2 hours. Like sometimes we listen, like a server is down for 3 hours, 4 hours. Like that we'll listen in banks, in government offices, we'll listen that. Okay, but in if they are maintaining these standby servers, downtime can be reduced. Okay, they can do that. So in a real time, they can have many production servers, many standby servers, not one, like multiple they can maintain. Okay, so in that case, like if any company or bank or IT companies, if they keep a primary server and secondary server, production server and standby server, they'll not keep in the same place. So they can be in a different buildings in the same location, or there can be in a different cities, or even in different countries also. So that can be done. Okay, so why they do like this is like due to fire accidents, or due to terrorist attack, or due to like tsunami, or floods or earthquake. If one server is lost, data in one server is lost, then they can take the backup from another server. If they are in the same place, then the data may be lost. So to avoid this, the companies will keep servers in a safe place, like cities like where will not listen about tsunami, then floods, earthquake, fire accidents, all these. Then there they'll keep the servers. Okay, so like companies which are in US, or like Australia or Singapore, anywhere, like they can keep their servers in India. In Hyderabad, they can keep the standby servers. Production servers they can keep there. Standby servers they can be in a different location. So what the DBA should do is they may be in different locations. So a DBA should maintain two copies of the same data in production server and standby server. So if DBA wants to do this, then different mechanisms are there, like database replication, log shipping, then database mirroring, like all these are there. Using them, they can do it. So if they want, they have to take the data from the production server, and they have to send the data to the standby server. So this should be done for every 5 minutes, for every for every 1 minute or 2 minutes should be done, because within 1 minute a lot of data can be stored in production server. So for every 1 minute or for every 2 minutes, they have to take the data from the production server. They have to send the data to the standby server. Like there, they'll use a backup and restore. Okay, so DBMA thing like doing this task manually, it is very difficult because every time DBA should be there with the server, and DBA should do this every time, running doing the task. So manually it is very difficult. Then DBA may think about automation. Like automation means Python can be used. If a DBA knows Python, or if a SQL developer knows Python, they will write the program and they will schedule it. So according to the given schedule, the script or program will run. So for scheduling, different tools, softwares are available like Crontab, EAT, Bell, Autosys, Control M, like many tools are there for scheduling. And in scheduling, they can use a one-time or recurring, they can do it. So one time means the program can run only one time. Recurring means according to the given date and time, it can execute. Okay, so if they know Python script, they'll schedule it according to the given schedule. The program will run and it will do the task. Like whatever tasks which are very difficult to do manually, okay, repeatedly, then by using Python programs, it can be done automatically. So here I have told one example, like in real time, like why this is used. So now we are seeing like in Oracle, in SQL Server, in other databases, whatever works done by the SQL developers or done by the administrators, like that work can be done automatically using using Python. From 1990s onwards, Python is used for automation of administrative tasks. Now also in companies, in IT companies, in banks, and in other companies, like Python is used for automation. Okay, and here you can see test cases implementation is there. Here I'm explaining about this fifth point here. So test cases implementation is there. So Python, as I said before, Python is for developing applications and it works as testing tools also. So whenever you want to test the applications, then by using Python, it is done. So in Python, here we are having a PyTest, Splinter, like tools or softwares are there. So by using them, testing can be done. So in testing, we can work with two types here: white box testing and black box testing. So we can check the code performance, whether it is working fast or slow. Black box testing also we can do here. So black box testing means here we can check the screens. Here we can check the screens, and then we can see whether they are giving proper output or not. We can do this. And here we can do unit testing and integration testing also. So we can test the whole project like system testing, and unit testing means page by page we can check here. So using the Python testing tools, the softwares, we can do this white box testing and also black box testing. And those who want to work with Selenium, testing tool Selenium, they can use Python code for that. And here you can see using Python we can develop scientific applications like there where we can perform numerical and mathematical calculations, or we can develop applications which are used in ISRO, NASA, DRDO. Like many organizations are there where they'll use scientific applications. Then using Python we can do it. And using Python we can develop networking applications. Like networking applications means they'll work in network and will allow the users to send text messages, audio, video calling, then screen sharing, then having a conference. Then in that case we can use a networking we can develop networking applications in Python. So networking applications examples are Skype is there, then Zoom is there. Now I'm using GoToMeeting. So using GoToMeeting we can here I can send text messages and audio, video, conference. Multiple people can have meeting. Like all this is possible. And then net meeting applications, video conference applications. All these are network applications. Like in mobile, we'll use WhatsApp. It is a network applications. So there we can see many features. Okay, like sending messages, then transferring of files, audio, video calling, lot of features, many features we can see. So whenever you want to develop applications like this, then by using Python, we can do it. And using Python, we can develop games or animation applications. So now gaming industry is also increasing. Okay, and like many new games are coming, and India is banning like Chinese applications developed by China, and Indians are developing the applications. Like all this is happening. Like before, gaming industry is very less. Even in Hyderabad, also gaming industry is increasing. And to develop games applications, like in Python, we can see like Pygame and other libraries are there. So using those libraries, Python libraries, applications can be developed easily. We can do that, and these are the applications we can develop. So as I said before, so using Python programming, you can work with many other courses. Like you can work with the data science, DevOps, then AWS, Amazon Web Services, then artificial intelligence, then machine learning, deep learning, IoT, Internet of Things. Like all these we can work with Python. So now we'll see how to download Python software, then installing Python. All these we are going to see now. So here to download the software. So in my system, Python is already installed. I will remove that, uninstall, and I'll again install the software. So here I'm using python.org. So in downloads, you can see the latest version. Here you can see the latest version here. Download Python 3.9.0 is given. Before 3.8.5, 8.6. Like 2 days back, they have uploaded this. Again, they have deleted. Like this is a recent update that we can see here. And here, when you see this, here you can see Python 3.9 and later versions cannot be used on Windows 7 or earlier versions. It cannot be used on earlier versions. We cannot use. We have to use Windows 8 or Windows 10. We have to use. So here I'm using Windows 10 Pro, Professional, and I'm using Windows 10 64-bit. I'm using it. So click on this button. Then here exe file is downloaded in downloads folder. So exe file is downloaded. So in downloads folder, you can see this. So this is a exe file. So I'll delete the previous version. So here add or remove programs. So here you can see 32-bit is there and also 64-bit is there. So here I'm uninstalling this. So here it is done successful uninstall. I'll remove this 64-bit also. So here uninstall is done, and physically I'll delete that folder in D drive. After uninstall, here you can see this Python 3832. So here I'm deleting this. So it is deleted. After installing, after uninstall, physically I'm deleting the location here. So it may have some files. I'm deleting that. And now in downloads, we can install that software now. In downloads, exe file is there, then we can install. So here run. So here you can see I'm installing Python 3.9.0 64-bit I'm using. So here it is saying install now. It will take the default location and it will install ideally people documentation, create shortcuts, file associations, all it will install. But here we'll go for customize because we can change the location, installation location. We can install some other files. All these we can do it. So here you can see all these are selected. So documentation is selected. We can install documentation like for help. Whenever you want to see notes for modules or functions, we can check. Here we are using pip also. So pip means Python package manager. So it is used to install Python packages. Like a package is a collection of modules, and here it install a TCL-TK. TCL-TK means it will install tkinter. Tkinter module is used to work with desktop applications, Windows applications, and it will install ideally integrated development learning environment. So to write programs, Python programs, and to run programs, it is used. And a Python test suite is also installed. PyLauncher is installed. So PyLauncher is used to install execute Python commands. So sometimes we'll use PyLauncher also, and this option also is selected. Next, and here you can see associate files with Python, like related files. It will install, create shortcuts for installed apps. So it will create shortcuts in some other location that is required. So we can get them on desktop. And here add Python to environment variables. So we can add a Python path to environment variable so that it can work from any location, from any drive, any folder, it will work. So every path, Windows path, Java path, other software's path is added in environment variables in control panel. Okay, so like this we can add automatically. It will add manually also we can add. That we'll see how to add manually. We are going to discuss it. And here you can see it is showing a location like this. I'm deleting all these folders. All these folders are deleted, and here I'll say d colon \. Here it is showing Python, and it is the Python current working directory. Python related files will be in this. Okay, even this folder we can change, but I'll keep this folder because we need to know which version we are using. So Python 39 we are using here. Folder name. It will install in a D drive. So here you can see installation is done successfully. And here I'll delete the previous shortcuts what I'm using. So here we'll get two icons here, interactive mode and batch mode. After installation in search we can type like ideally. So here ideally Python 3.9 64-bit. Okay, right click on this, open file location, and here you can see shortcuts created in some other location. So here right click on this ideally, then send to desktop, create shortcut, and this is interactive mode here. Right click, send to desktop, create shortcut. So we can see two icons on the desktop here. Here you can see. So this is ideally this is interactive mode, Python 3.9, like this will get. So interactive mode is used to execute the statements immediately and then it gives a result. So to check the features of Python, then interactive mode we can use. So here I've double clicked on interactive mode. Here I'll increase the font size. So here we can type the commands. Here I'm typing like this. So here print s, it is giving the result a equal to value and b equal to value, c equal to a plus b, then print c. So here we are getting the result here. Like this we can execute the statements and then we can get the result. And here whatever we are typing here, these are not saved in a file, like it is only for temporary, just executing and closing the window. Like if I want to save these statements in a file and if I want to use it again, it is not possible. When I close this window, the statements are deleted, or when I clear the screen, to clear the screen command is there. When I clear the screen, then whatever values are there, they are deleted. Again, we cannot get them back. It is only just temporary, executing and closing the window. And here we can see ideally is used to write programs, and it is used to execute the programs. For writing the programs, to run, to execute the programs, it is used. So ideally works as interactive mode and batch mode, both. Here we can type commands. Here you can see same thing I am doing here. So yeah, same thing. So it works as both interactive mode and batch mode. Now to create a file, a new file. So here when I say new file, we'll get a new window, like a notepad will get here. So here we can type the commands and we can execute. So here I'll type statements, print, so print s is given. So print c is given, and print here I'm using by. So all these statements are given. So now here I'll say file save. So default location is Python 39 folder, the folder which is created now at the time of installation. So we can save in any location, that we'll see. So here we are giving like this. Here I'll give name as file1. File1 means it will save as .py, file1.py. Save. So here you can see the path, D drive, Python 39 folder, file1. And here if I click on run module, file is created. So we wrote some statements, like it is a program. And when I say run module, so whatever file we have created, whatever module that is created, whatever program that we wrote here, it is a module. Python file, Python program is a module. So run module, click on run module. So it is giving the result here. Here you can see the result. We can save this file in another location. File, then save as. I'll save this file in D drive. D drive or E drive I'll save. So in E drive I'm saving the file. Anywhere you can save, from anywhere you can run the file here. So here you can see E drive file 1 run module. So these are the values here. And here we are writing program in IDLE and we are executing the program in IDLE, both. So we can do programs in Notepad also. We can write programs in Notepad and we can execute at command prompt. At command prompt we can execute. So let us do this. So here I'll say print, here I'll say yes, then value, then print s. And here a equal to value is given. And print a is given. Here I'm writing some statements. So file save, then I'll save this in a D drive. D drive. Here extension is mandatory, like a file2.py. So file is saved. After saving the file, what we'll do? We'll run the program. In Notepad, we don't have any run module. Run button is not there. If a run icon, run button or run option is there, then I would have clicked on run. But here there is no option. So to run this program, command prompt. So here D drive. Here I'll write a file2.py file name. It is giving the result. So Python file2.py. This is another way. Python is exe file. And py means Python launcher. PyLauncher is there. Even that also we can use here. So here I'm running this program in 3 different ways. We can run. So here Python exe file is in D drive Python 39. It is there. So here cd Python 39. So in this folder exe file is there, Python exe, but it works in D drive. It works in D drive and it works in C drive. Anywhere it will work. Okay, how it is working? Python exe file in Python 39 folder. How it is working in D drive is because it is already given in. It is already given in environment variables in control panel. Okay, so I'll do changes. So here env I'm typing. In a search I'm typing env. So here it is showing edit environment variables of your for your account. So here you can see user variables is given, and here I'll select path, and here edit is there. Click on edit. Here you can see Python 39 is there here. So I'm deleting this 3.3 old version. I'm deleting here. Okay. So here scripts is there here. Okay. So I'll close this window. Again I'll open. So here command prompt. Then D drive. Here I'll write Python file2.py. So here it is not giving any result here. So it is not giving any result. Before we have seen it is giving result here. So but now it is not giving any result. Okay. So here I am closing this. So now again type env. So here go to path, then again edit. So here I'll type new, and here I'll use a d : / Python 39 folder. So here I'm typing this Python 39. Okay, so manually we are giving a Python path in a control panel in environment variables. So okay. Now here I'll say command. So here I'll execute this now. D drive. So here I'll use a Python file2.py. So I think here changes are not being updated. So here if I restart the system, then changes may be updated, then it will works. So like this only we'll do here. So here while adding the path, here there is no mistake. This is correct only. So here if I restart the system, then again the settings will work. So like this only we should do it. Okay. So again after doing changes, again when I'm adding path here, my system is not taking that update. So again if I do a restart, then again that path will work. Python path will works. No, for other it is not there. No, for other also it is not there. So I'll do that. For other system folders it is not there. For previous versions also without slash it is used to work. No, no, here it is not updating. Here it is not giving the result here. Like the path, I think it is not updated. If I restart the system, it will works. So like this in your systems also you can do all this. Okay, and I'm stopping now, and next class is on Monday. So Monday we are going to continue with like basic data types. We'll see how the data types in Python will work. Then after that we'll discuss about string handling. So we'll move into the subject one by one. We are going to see in next classes. So those who have not yet registered, please register for the course. Talk to the team, online team. Okay. Then Monday this link will change. Okay. So they'll give new link, and those who register for them, they will give the link. So please talk to online team. Okay. So Monday will continue. So once if you register, whatever notes, whatever I've told, like in all these classes, like 5 classes, like I will send all the videos, notes also I'll send. Okay.